Outstanding.
Welcome again to another tutorial video. And think it's a boy Eldorado and thing. Today we're going to talk about audio compression and thing. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button, leave your comments, join our WhatsApp group, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and also at Eldorado and Eldorado Productions. And don't forget to check out the goodies on my website. That's eldoradoproductions.tk. Have you ever needed some unique drum samples for your dancehall productions? Or maybe want to have some 90s style sounding drums for your modern productions? Eldorado Dancehall Hits Kits Volume Number 2 have the right stuff for you. Carefully designed, picked and shaped for all your drum grooves. Plus enhanced right to fit in your rhythm productions. You can order yours today at eldoradoproductions.tk. Anyways, what is compression? Compression basically what make louder sound softer or help to shape the sound of the dynamics in another track. There are several different parameters of a compressor and thing, but we just don't go over some of the basics of what you would normally see and compressors of different manufacturers. So the basics ones you might see with the ratio, threshold, attack, and release, and also makeup gain, and some of them you see type of compressor settings and thing, and there are others just stick with just those four main things. The ratio on our compressor really determine how hard the compressor work. The threshold determine when compression start take place, attack, how fast compression work after exceed the threshold, and release determine how fast or slow the compressor take to release when it drop below the threshold, below the set threshold for the compressor. So alright, so the ratio, we talk about the ratio determine how hard the compressor work. Let me keep on saying compression. Alright, 1-to-1 is no, it's basically no compression, and how you really get to understand the number. So say for instance I send it to 3-to-1. See, so every 3 decibels over the threshold, there's only one that pass through. So if you set it 7-to-1 same way, you set it 7-to-1, every 7 decibels over the threshold, there's only one go pass through. So only 6 alone go get compressed and 1 pass through. And for 3-to-1, I go 2 decibels over the threshold, I go pass through. And only 2 I go pass through, and the other one, sorry, only 2 I go compress, and the other one pass through. So if I set a 20-to-1, saying that extremely hard compression, call it, you can call it limiting to. You see it. So every 20 to 1, on 19 go get compressed and only 1 go pass through. So if you set it -17, so this has a -17.5. So every 20 decibel over 17.5, only 19 alone are gonna get compressed, and it get compressed how fast the attack time is set, and how that is a how fast the attack time is set. So 15 millisecond over 17.5. So after 15 millisecond, it will compress 9 19 decibels of audio while only one pass through. So that's why I said 20 to 1. So 19 of them will get compressed and one will go pass through. Yeah. So make we put some of these things into practice to make you really understand how, get a grasp of how you really want the compressors to work. So for demonstration purpose, we go use one you can see. Let me select the same thing again. It's a filter limiter, but you have a compression section. So based off of the last tutorial, we go use the same track and thing or resize it. You can see where I go on. So the ratio will set it 1 to 1. So up here in the corner up here, so you go see your compression settings and things, so you can really jot it now and things. So this line here is the threshold, and this line are gone up in the here at the ratio. So change the curve. Attack time at 0.2 milliseconds. So after every 0.2 millisecond, the threshold will really take place. So we set it to 1 to 1. As you can see, there is no compression taking place. So we go set the ratio 2 to 1. 2 to 1. So as you can see, there's compression taking place at 2 to 1. So if we set it back 1 to 1 and play over the same set of phrase, then come right here. Go see. As you can see, there is very little line here to really show you. Let me get this out of here. Let me detach this. You can really see what really are going. Alright, so if we set the ratio 3 to 1, thing I don't really like with this, you know, really see what you really do. Yeah, set the compression, you know, really see. Oh, yeah, set it. So we'll set it to 3 to 1. So as I can see, there is more and more compression taking place. Alright, so we'll carry on the millisecond to about 120 and put it to about 15 milliseconds. So after every 15 milliseconds, it will compress at 3 to 1 ratio after the audio exceed the threshold level. So changing the attack time, you know, the time how the strings really stop, it is less than the 15 millisecond where when me set on the attack time. So the compressor now gonna really pick it up because it take less than 15 millisecond the transient to really die down back under the threshold level. So the compressor now really pick it up. So me set it so we go at a higher 20 to 1. That's extremely limited. As you can see, the the ratio. You know, as we tell you, it determines how hard the compression work. So this I work really hard. It's like slamming it, you know. So we're gonna play it. So we have a fast attack time, about 19 milliseconds. Still an hour. Alright, so we use a more something that is more dynamic. So go save reset and put it on kick. Yeah, perfect example. So we turn it off of this and go to the kick, turn it on. Alright, so suppose you can see more on this. Oh, so we set this 2-to-1 ratio, and the attack time is about a millisecond. So 1 millisecond after it exceed the threshold, it gonna start compress and thing, and that you don't really want to compress the transient out of your kicks, because you really need the transient to really pass through in order to get that punch. But a good way you can really compress a kick is like let the transient pass through, and then you compress what is left after. You know, so it's a bit more punchy, and the release time has to be really fast. So that is how hard the compressor really works. So we want to work a little lighter. Not so hard. Set it to 1 to 2. You tighten it a little bit more, but you get more punch in the kick and thing. So that is one way you can really use the kick and thing. And as you can see, it reduce the volume. It release the volume of the actual kick. So go play it pass and bypass. Bypass. Alright, so as you can see, it reduces a little, but we're going to use a greater amount of compression, 2-to-1, and ease up the threshold a little. Bring it down. So you can see it make it a little bit softer. So we're going to raise the ratio again, make it work a little harder, 3-to-1, not 3-to-1. It make the kick a little bit tighter, in which it still releases volume. So we're going to make up for what we lost by using the gain. So you get a lot more punch in your by compressing it. So as going over the parameters of the compressor, the ratio determines how hard the compression works. The threshold is when compression start take place. The attack time determine the time where after it exceeds the threshold that compression start to take place, and the release time release of is the time which is set to release of the audio signal after compression has taken place. So we'll use it on another sound source. Or use it on this audio signal. So we go use one way still can see really a one. So we'll compress around this part of the track. So we go set the ratio at about, set it to 3 to 1. Basic, soft compression. And as we tell you, we'll compress off all of those peaks. As you can see, the louder sounds start to become more quiet and things. So we'll drag it down a little bit more. And it starts to bring up the some gain to it. So it bring up the lower sounds and compress the transient, the peaks, and things. We kind of get it more full, So by compressing peaks and giving it a little bit gain, it helps get the song more dynamic instead of just let it be loud and just call it a day, So this is without compression. This is with compression. So I'm going to detach this again without compression. With compressor. So the purple part really represent the gain, the makeup gain and thing. White part, you can see, is just regular audio. The blue line that you see here is the threshold level. So about 6 milliseconds after it exceeds the threshold, it starts to compress and it releases about fairly amount, in which that is a long release time for the compressor. So it also carry it down to about 30. So it has a shorter release time in the audio signal here. So it starts to release long before it even finish. So pump a little bit. So release in conjunction with the audio signal and things. So those are basic ways you can really use it again. So keep in mind what the settings for a compressor really do. So we go do a main recap again. Compression basically make loud sound softer or help shape the dynamic of an audio track, in which the ratio determine how hard the compressor. Why we can't read it out? The ratio determine how hard the compressor works. The threshold determine when the compression start to take place. The attack tell you how fast the compressor start to work after it exceeds the threshold. The release time determine how fast or slow compression takes to release when it drop below the threshold level and things. I have, as we said, the ratio level after every like 3. If you set it to 3 to 1, So after every 3 decibels over the threshold level, it compress 2 and let 1 pass through. So if you have it to 7 to 1, every 7 decibels over that exceed the threshold level, only 6 will get compressed and 1 pass through and thing. So I just want you to bear all of this information in mind. So when you apply your compression to your audio signal, you can really determine how much compression you really want to take place, how fast you want your compression to start acting, how fast or slow you really want it to release. And when you compress and thing, don't forget to use makeup gain, the makeup back in volume if you really needed that. Because some signal, you just want to compress and you really want to make up in volume in which it sound good CMA. So use compression wisely and bear the controls and settings in your mind where you really want your, how it really work and thing. So you have to listen and feel compression also. You can't just alright go use a soft compression, a 2-to-1 ratio, and duck down some of the signal and thing. You have to really listen how much you really reduce in value to make up, and the types of compression you're really using, because different manufacturer will make them different. So get familiar with the compressions that you're using also. So thanks for watching again. Thanks for tuning in. If you have anything to ask, leave it in the comments below. And anything. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell notification button. And I'll see you again in another tutorial video. Until next time, you don't know Eldorado. Talk to you and take. Bless up yourself every time.